What's going on, people? It's your homeboy back again, the host, Brandon Brevon Towns, with that show, Sports Plus Life. Another episode, turn it off, cut it off, cut it off. I said cut it off, damn it, cut it off. All right, but how's everybody doing today? It is Saturday, December 22nd, 2018. And I'm live from the VA. Well, live right now from the VA. And, of course, if you're new to Sports Plus Life, definitely hit that subscribe button and, come join us. Maybe you'll become my 11th listener. You feel me? And today I'm going to solely focus on Week 16 as far as NFL matchups are concerned. Starting a little later than I wanted to. It's almost 5 o'clock. There's actually a football game going on now, but I had to finish up my Christmas shopping, So I was out there, me and my daughter, who you can probably hear fussing in the background. We were out there finishing up Christmas shopping, and, it was a little busy, a little crowded. I was out there for like 4 hours and stuff, but it's cool though. I'm done. I'll tell you that much. I am done. But anyway, let's go ahead. Are y'all ready to talk about these NFL matchups? And an interesting comment that LeBron James said about NFL owners that I couldn't agree more. So with that being said, let's get to it. All right, once again, like I said, Week 16 in the NF of the L. We have, like I said, a live matchup going on right now between the Washington Redskins and the Tennessee Titans. It is in the first quarter. The Titans are currently up 6-3. Derrick Henry just scored a touchdown, but they missed the extra point. Surprise. That's just been the thing to do this season. But this is a big game that's going on right now. A lot of playoff implications. The Redskins, who are they're trying to prove me wrong, because I've had a sound effect for them every time I mention their season, and ever since I started doing this show on Thanksgiving. But they had a big win last week against the most disappointing team in the NFL this season, the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it kept them afloat. That with the Cowboys losing, they're still in play for the division, and they're still actually in play for a wild card with Josh Johnson as their quarterback. Josh Johnson. And to Josh Johnson's credit, he played good last week. And what I believe that Josh Johnson has done is Josh Johnson has pretty much assured himself that he will at least be a backup in the NFL next season, especially if somehow, some way, by the grace of God, he can get the Redskins into the playoffs. Of course, they have to win today, but what I think he's done is assure himself at least a backup position. And who knows, he may stay with the Redskins, and he may start off the season as their starting quarterback, because Alex Smith ain't going to be ready by the time training camp starts next week. I can tell you that right now. And all jokes aside, good for him. A couple weeks ago when the Redskins initially brought him on as a quarterback, yes, I thought that was a slap in the face to Colin Kaepernick, only because they mentioned him. Only because they mentioned they had interest in Colin Kaepernick and then signed a quarterback that hadn't been on a roster since 2013. That was a slap in the face to Colin Kaepernick. Nothing against Josh Johnson. Good for him the way he's been playing. Good for him the way he's been playing. That's what happens, I guess, when you keep your body in shape, you stay ready. Because my man's was playing flag football. So good for him. And that also shows how bad Mark Sanchez is. Because Mark Sanchez was in the league 2 years ago. That just shows you how horrible he has become as a quarterback.
You suck!
So, but that's a big game, because if the Titans win, the Titans are 8-6. They're part of that good old congestion in the AFC. If they win, the Titans win, they will be 9-6, and they will temporarily be in have the 6th wild card spot over the team that plays over the team that plays in the second game tonight on Saturday night, which is the Ravens and the Chargers, which is another big game, and that game is in L.A. I mean, the Ravens, it's all on the line for them. Like I said, the Lamar Jackson era is here in Baltimore. Joe Flacco is healthy. Joe Flacco is going to be the backup. Okay, he's going to be the backup because this was inevitable. The second they drafted Lamar Jackson, I said, yeah, it's just a matter of time. I thought Flacco would make it through the season. He got hurt, no fault of his own, but they found a temporary formula, because it is temporary, because the style that the Ravens are playing now is not going to work. Is not going to work in the future. It's working right now, ball control, but Lamar Jackson is going to have to get his he's going to have to ante up with his throwing. I mean, I'm all for RPO. I love the run pass option. But if you want Lamar Jackson to last, then he needs to ante up his throwing ability. And I know he can throw, but they need to definitely work on that during the offseason. But he could take them to the playoffs. But if the Titans win, they will temporarily go to the 6th spot. And they will eliminate my Denver Broncos. They'll eliminate my Denver Broncos. They will eliminate, probably I would want to say, the Cleveland Browns as well. And everybody else who has 6 wins. If Tennessee wins, if the Colts win tomorrow, then, sayonara to 6-win teams who are clinging by the skin of their teeth right now to playoff hopes. But, with that being said, these are some big games, because the Chargers are still, with the Ravens and the Chargers are still looking to win the AFC West and win home field. They're still looking for that. And so let's go through the matchups. I've gone through Saturday. Now, the Ravens and the Chargers, I like the Chargers to win tonight. I do. I really do. I like the Chargers to win tonight. Baltimore is going to be in a predicament. Now, the games tomorrow, Cincinnati at Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland is barely hanging on to playoff life. But like I said, if the Titans win, that's a wrap. But, I will say this. The Cleveland Browns are coming. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with very, very, very soon. And for the Cleveland Browns, who beat my Broncos last week in Denver, thanks a lot, Case Keenum.
You suck.
I said get us to the playoffs, and you ain't even going to do that. So I'm going to firmly show my emotions on how you are not the future for the Denver Broncos quarterback position. But anyway, back to the Browns. For them to have 6 wins this season, 6 wins going into week 16 is usually seen as a disappointment. But when you've been 1-31 the last 2 NFL seasons, 6 wins for Cleveland, this has been quite the turnaround. Quite the turnaround. They have their quarterback of the future, Baker Mayfield. They have their running back of the future, Nick Chubb. They have a very good wide receiver in Jarvis Landry. I'd like to see them get another big time wide receiver with him. They have a good tight end, David Njoku, and that defense is legit. Myles Garrett, Pro Bowler. Denzel Ward, Pro Bowler. Jabril Peppers will be a Pro Bowler. That defense is legit, and they're just going to get better and better. So, Cleveland is definitely a team on the up and up, and I think they'll beat the Bengals. Now, interesting 1 o'clock game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go against the Dallas Cowboys.
You suck.
Now, Bucs have nothing to play for. I think Jameis Winston is playing for his future as Tampa Bay's quarterback. And if they don't want him, I'll take Jameis Winston in Denver. I will. Sorry. I like him better than Case Keenum. Now, Dallas can clinch the NFC East with a win. Now, they wet the bed. They got shut out They got shut out by the Colts last week. Shut out 23-0. How about them Cowboys?
Go!
So, anyway, all they need to do is win. Now, the Cowboys should beat the Bucks. They should. Bucks defense stinks. They suck.
You suck!
The Bucks defense is horrible, and it's been horrible all year. They have a couple playmakers, but their defense is what it is. It's trash. They have offensive weapons. I really wish Deshaun Jackson would get back on the field. It's like he's quit on Tampa Bay. And I don't know. It's like he quit on them. But they have weapons. They can give the Cowboys a hard time. And the Cowboys' offense is very, very, very limited. They're very limited. Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper. You know, Dak is just, I don't know, man. Dak is, he doesn't take care of the ball. He has, days where he can, look like a warrior, but then he has days where he just looks horrible. And I shed no tears because I think it's utterly hilarious. To hell with Dallas. And I hope they lose. I hope they lose their next 2 games and somehow miss the playoffs. It would be hysterical to me. Oh, that's all I want for Christmas. That's all I want for Christmas is a Cowboy collapse. That plane. That's the one Christmas present I want. Christmas and the New Year is them Cowboys to collapse. But unfortunately, I think that they're going to handle business against Tampa Bay. I think it'll be more interesting. I think it'll be a close game. But in the end, one thing about Jameis will give you a couple turnovers too. Jameis will give you a couple turnovers. So it would not surprise me to see Jameis with the ball late in the game and him turn it over, which costs them the game. I still like him better than Case Keenum.
You suck!
Next game, Vikings at Detroit. Vikings at Detroit. Detroit has nothing to play for. Minnesota has everything to play for because they're at the 6th. They're the 6th seed, 6-7-1. I think that they will win. I think this will be a difficult game. I think Kirk Cousins will get it done. I think the Vikings will win. The next game is the Giants at the Colts. I had this game being fairly interesting until, the Giants lost last week. They got shut out as well to the Titans. And then when the Colts got a couple of Pro Bowl snubs, Andrew Luck not getting voted to the Pro Bowl along with Darius Leonard. I think the Colts are going to come in angry. And I think they're going to beat the hell out the Giants. And I really do. And they're at home too. I think the Colts are going to play angry. I think this is going to be a statement. This is going to be a statement game for the Colts. Boy, the Redskins can't get out their own way right now. So I wouldn't want to be the Giants. Another game that has playoff implications. Well, a team that's in the congestion of the looking for the last spot in the AFC. Jacksonville at Miami. The Dolphins are 7-7, and they got waxed last week by Minnesota. You know what it is with Miami is whenever you start having expectations for the Dolphins, they shit on themselves. They really do. They really, really shit on themselves. And I guess for Miami, it's business as usual. Fans should be used to it. Honestly, the Dolphins really haven't been nothing since, they ain't been shit since Dan Marino, for real. Make the playoffs every now and again. In the early 2000s, they had, Jay Fiedler was their quarterback, and that's for my real sports heads. But other than that, you wildcatted your way to the playoffs with Chad Pennington as the quarterback, and Ronnie Brown as the quarterback, and Ricky Williams as the quarterback. You wildcatted your way in, and then you lucked up. Matt Moore got hot 2 years ago. That's the Dolphins for you. And honestly, they're playing the most disappointing football team in the league this year. They'll win to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. They'll beat Jacksonville at home. They will. They'll beat them. Buffalo at New England. This is only interesting because of the developments that's happened over the last couple of days with Josh Gordon walking away, walking away from the team for mental health reasons, quote unquote, and then being suspended. I hope Josh Gordon really does get it together. So the Patriots, they don't have many weapons at offense at all. But even with that, the game is in New England. I think the Patriots are going to beat Buffalo. I think that'll be division games tend to surprise you. Nothing would make me happier outside of the Cowboys losing if the Patriots somehow lost to Buffalo. And Buffalo has a pretty stingy defense. And Josh Allen, he makes plays with his legs, but, somehow, some way, the Patriots will find a way. They will. They'll find a way. And what I'm worried about is because right now the Patriots are in the third seed. They're 9-5. Haven't had 5 losses since 2009. Their most losses since 2009, which is, hey, I can't do nothing but give credit as far as that's concerned, because that's quite a run. And I don't like them, but that's a remarkable run. They've had 4 losses or less ever since 2010, but they haven't played in the divisional round since 2009, and I am sick and tired of seeing the Patriots always with a damn bye week in the playoffs. So right now, that's held by the Houston Texans, and I'm worried because I just have this feeling that somehow, some way, the Texans might find a way to mess it up and have the New England end up being that getting that second seed. I don't know, because which leads Green Bay at the Jets. Who cares? Neither team is going anywhere. I don't know. The Jets, shit. Honestly, I think the Packers are going to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets did. But brings me to the next game, Houston at Philadelphia. Man, the Eagles piss me off, man. I'm going to tell you. The Philadelphia Eagles really, really, really piss me off because I'm sitting there boasting my chest, got Rocky music playing in the background and shit, saying, go ahead and beat them Cowboys. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now, they got screwed that game. I will say that. They got screwed. But then Carson Wentz gets hurt, and, you're going back to Nick Foles, and it's like, but you're going to play the Rams in L.A., and Nick Foles comes out and plays great. And it's not like he's not capable of that. He's the reigning Super Bowl MVP, so obviously. But it's like Nick Foles only plays great when everything is on the line. Boy, that irritates me. Because early in the season, he didn't look good at all. But then all of a sudden, you got to go to the team who's tied for the best record in football in their house, who just came off of an embarrassing loss on Sunday Night Football to the Bears. And Nick Foles comes out and balls out. It was 30-13 at one point in that game. Now, they tried everything in their power to get a game away. They won 30-23. They tried to give the game away. But Nick Foles, the Eagles piss me off. They really do. They really do, because you just know, they show the heart of a champion. But it's like, where was that, a month ago? Now, granted, you kept yourself in the division and the wild card race. That's why, Lord, let the Cowboys lose. But as far as my interest goes, I don't know who I want to see win this game. I want to see Houston win the game because I want to see them keep the number 2 seed and they would clinch their division, blase, blase. But I want to see the Eagles win because I don't want to see the Cowboys getting damn playoffs. And I love the Eagles. Not like my Broncos, but I love the Eagles. So I'm really torn on this game. I'm really, really, really torn. I'm almost like Come on, Redskins, beat the Titans. Beat the Titans so that the Texans can beat the Eagles and the Cowboys lose. Whatever. Now, if the Cowboys come out and beat the hell out of Tampa Bay, it's all moot anyway. But man, the Eagles piss me off. They really do. They really piss me off. Next game, Atlanta at Carolina. Panthers have shut down Cam for the rest of the season. I mean, the Panthers have had an unbelievable collapse. They were once 6-2. At the midway point of the season, they were 6-2. They ain't won a game since. They have not won a game since. They're now 6-8. They're still technically in the playoff race, but no Cam, no chance. They're done. Falcons were already done. So, honestly, who cares? I'm not trying to be funny unless you're looking at fantasy points. Who really cares about that game outside of Falcon fans and Panther fans? Next game, 4:00 game, Rams at Cardinals. Now, the Rams need this. I mean, they've already won the division, but they need it because they've lost 2 straight. And they don't look the same. The Rams have not looked the same offensively since Cooper Kupp got hurt. And I like Josh Reynolds, who they have now as their third receiver, but he's not as elusive. He's a big target, 6'3". He's not as elusive in that slot as Cooper Kupp. It's just, there's just that cog in that offense where you're like, that just helps make that offense go. Todd Gurley's banged up. Todd Gurley's banged up, and they just signed C.J. Anderson. I like that. Because, CJ, he hasn't played much this season, so he should be fresh. Ooh, Adrian Peterson just lowered his shoulder on Malcolm Butler. Boy, that's a bitch I ain't old hit. But I like the signing of CJ Anderson because their backup, Malcolm Brown, is hurt. But the Rams need this. They need this, for one, to, secure home field advantage because the Bears can catch them. Now that they've beaten them, the Bears can catch them. So I think Goff and Gurley and Cooks and Woods, they got to get it together. And that defense definitely needs to get it together. And the Cardinals should be the remedy, even though it's a division game and even though it's in Arizona. The Rams should beat the crap out of them. Next game, Chicago at San Francisco. This is why I'm saying the Rams got to handle their business because, Chicago can catch them. I do believe they will beat the 49ers. I have their defense scoring points as well as their offense. Oh, Josh Johnson, you just took a sack at the 1-yard line by former Broncos trash, Wesley Woodyard. Good to see you still doing good, Wesley. That was smart, dude. What the hell was he thinking? But Chicago will beat San Francisco. And then the main attraction of the 4:00 games, Pittsburgh at New Orleans. Whoo. Well now. Tickle me ass about this one. This is going to be a good game. And not trying to be funny. Oh, what a move. Adrian Peterson. Boy, he still got it. Boy, he still got it. That cut, Lord, he just broke the safety's ankle. Even though the Saints have won their last 2 games, they've been on the road their last 3 games. They haven't played a home game since Thanksgiving, to be honest with you. That's the last time they played at home. They went on a 3-game road trip, and starting with the Cowboys, their defense, that was kind of an introduction to Dallas's defense, I guess, to the league. And then they played Tampa at Tampa, and then they played Carolina. Their offense has not looked good. Their offense has not looked good at all. You're talking about a team that'll be glad to get back home, and a team who needs you. Like, they need this win like they lost. Like, they have lost their last 2 because their offense. I never thought I would say this about a Drew Brees-led Saints team. Their offense needs to catch up to their defense because their defense has been great through this stretch. Their defense has been great. I never thought I would say that Drew Brees' offense needs to catch up to their defense. Their defense has been stout, to say the least. And the Steelers finally got that monkey off their back, beating the Patriots. So they're going to come in fully confident. I believe that's going to be a high-scoring game. The Steelers, they're fighting for their playoff lives too. I think they would be able to clinch should they win and Baltimore loses, and especially if Baltimore wins, because it is not out of the realm of possibility that the Pittsburgh Steelers could miss the playoffs. I mean, that's a reality of it. So that's going to be a game. That's going to be a high, and that's going to be a playoff atmosphere game. Because who needs it more? Well, the Steelers need it more, obviously. Look at AP. Look at AP. Boy, it is week 16, and AP is out here spinning and making cuts. Look at AP. Bitch, I'm not old. Look at Adrian Peterson. But who needs it? The Steelers obviously need it more, but the Saints need to play like they need them. I mean, the Saints pretty much have the number one seed on lock. They pretty much have that on lock because they have their game better than the Rams. They have the tiebreaker with the Rams. So you win this game, you clinch the number one seed, so that's your incentive. But you're going to be playing a desperate team, particularly depending on tonight's game between the Chargers and the Ravens. And I am going to go to work. I don't really want to, but I need to. I'm going to have to DVR that game because I want to see that. I want to see that game. And then the Sunday night game, another huge game, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle just laid a dud against San Francisco last week. I mean, that was a chance to lock up the 5th seed because you're not advancing anywhere. And I still think when it's said and done, Seattle's going to end up with the 5th seed because, Minnesota is 7-6-1 and you hold the tiebreaker. You beat Minnesota head to head. So I still think they will end up with the 5th seed. I think they'll still end up playing the winner of the NFC East. I mean, this is another game where two teams feel like they gotta have it. They gotta have it because now, since Kansas City has no more room for error, since you lost last Thursday night at home to the Chargers, they can catch you. They can catch you, and I'm sure they want the number one seed to go through Arrowhead Stadium. Now, let me reiterate what I was saying after they lost to the Chargers. All of that Arrowhead is such a tough place to win. That is strictly off of reputation, and I don't know why. The Kansas City Chiefs have lost their last 5 home playoff games, dating back to 1995. There is no Arrowhead mystique when it comes to the playoffs. They lose all the time. Look it up. They lose all the time at home. They let you down. But if they still want to, hang on to the position of number one, especially with what happens tonight, this Charger-Ravens game is so huge. It affects so many other teams. And I honestly believe that the Chiefs are going to win. I do. I really do. I believe that the Chiefs are going to win the game. They're going to go on the road. They're going to handle their business. That's just too much. Now, one thing I've said, defenses have proven that they can still carry the day. But I have not seen a defense yet that's held the Kansas City Chiefs to under 20 points. Even the Ravens. And I just think that's too much firepower for the Seattle Seahawks. They cannot get into a shootout with they can't keep up offensively with the Kansas City Chiefs, whose defense is not good. But they'll be good enough to get a stop here and there on Russell Wilson, and their offense can man the day. They're good enough. Adrian Peterson is toting this rock. He is toting this rock right now. And the Monday Night Football game, Broncos and Raiders. My Denver Broncos were not going to the playoffs. Thank you, Case Keenum.
You suck.
And injuries had to play a part in it too. So honestly, I was on the phone at work and I was talking with somebody from Colorado. And the only thing I was telling him is that I love Elway. He's my most favoritist quarterback of all time. And he's been a good GM. He's bought us a Super Bowl title. But ever since Peyton Manning has retired, he's dropped the ball at the quarterback position. Now, that's the position that I expect you, of all people, Mr. Elway, to be an expert at. Your draft picks have been suspect, to say the least. Brock Osweiler, suck. I mean, he was good in 2015, and that's the year I guess we needed him to be good because we ended up winning a Super Bowl. But Trevor Siemian, the thing is, I actually like Trevor Siemian. I like Trevor Siemian. I think that if, had he not gotten banged up in 2016, I really do believe, I will say this, there were games where he got the job done and the defense actually dropped the ball. I will say that. But Trevor Siemian, it's like in 2017, Trevor Siemian just imploded. And Paxton Lynch, don't get me started on that piece of trash as far as a quarterback is concerned. Paxton stench. He stinks. He's not even in the league anymore.
You suck.
After what, 2 years? Can't cut it. Cannot cut it, cannot cut it, cannot cut it. And the fact is, John Elway needs to stop being cheap. And he needs to go out there and get a quarterback. Get Aaron Rodgers. You gave Peyton Manning $95 million for 2 years, and he was worth every penny. 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl championship in that 4-year stretch. Stop being cheap. Redskins just scored a touchdown, a Josh Johnson touchdown pass to Michael Floyd. Stop being cheap, John Elway, and get us a quarterback. And now you're starting to drop the ball on the defense as well. And I mean, when I say who cares about this Monday Night Football game, I think that, unfortunately, that Vance Joseph's job could be on the line. And I really don't think that's fair to Vance Joseph because he's been shortchanged at the most important position. And I did not like, and I didn't like them trading Aqib Talib. I thought that was a big mistake. I didn't like them trading Demaryius Thomas. I thought that was a big mistake. Because of course you never know when injuries are going to happen, but boy, it would have been nice to have Aqib Talib after Chris Harris got hurt. It'd have been really nice to have Demaryius Thomas after Emmanuel Sanders got hurt. It's been great. So, with that being said, Elway, you got work to do, and it's really at one position because the defense is still a very good defense, but we need to bring in another top-flight cornerback to go with Chris Harris. Since you let Talib go, I think we're good with pass rushers because Von Miller is having a great year. So is Bradley Chubb. But we need to shore up that defensive backfield and get the quarterback situation in hand. Case Keenum is not the guy. He's a backup quarterback. He's a backup. He's always been a backup. So it is what it is. But those are your matchups for week 16. And now I'll quickly, like I said earlier when I first started the show, touch on a comment LeBron James made about NFL owners. And the Lakers did beat the Pelicans last night. LeBron had a triple-double. Anthony Davis had a great game for the Pelicans, too. But LeBron James said NFL owners have a slave mentality. I couldn't agree more. I really couldn't agree more. It's true. It is true. I mean, if you look at it, the whole process of, getting into the NFL is real slave-ish. Now, of course, the big difference is these players are getting paid millions of dollars, of course. That's the biggest difference. But the whole process, you go through the combine. We want to see how hard, and we want to see how fast this person can run, how high they can jump, how many weights they can lift. And these owners, quote unquote, are sitting around evaluating. Well, they have their scouts out there evaluating these players as what they are to the owners, property. And they treat them as such. The NFL, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is as far as how that process works. And I couldn't agree more with LeBron. But with that being said, NFL is top dog in America. NFL is top dog. I love the NFL. And as messed up as I think that they have done Colin Kaepernick, and they should be ashamed of themselves for ostracizing this man. You can come with all the football terminology and mechanicals of why he's not a quarterback. It's all bullshit, because he is better than half of these quarterbacks in the league, maybe a little more than half. So it is all bullshit. We all know why he's not in the league. We all know why, and it's shameful. It is shameful. But with that being said, you know, I hate the way they've done Colin Kaepernick, but I'm not one of these, you know, people who saying I won't watch the NFL because of how they're doing Colin Kaepernick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna tell that lie. I love my football. You know, the way it's run is suspect. These owners do have a slave mentality. They do. Not one black owner in the NFL. I mean, that speaks volumes. Only one black owner in the NBA, honestly, Michael Jordan. So I agree with LeBron 100%. You know, as far as that is so as far as that goes, Mariota just got waxed. He just got smacked. Mason Foster, goodness gracious. But anyway, that is pretty much all that I want to talk about as far as the sports go. So, wada. All right. And now, as far as the life section goes, I've gotten a lot of, you know, feedback as far as what I talked about, as far as the Cardi B and the whining and dining. Look, man, like I said, I'm going to reiterate. If you can afford to do that, to spend $1,000 on your girl for hair and nails, good for you. If you can afford it and you know you into her like that, and good for you. Good for you. But if I'm just meeting somebody and I'm just, you know, we're not even on a serious stage like that, hell no. Hell no. And even if we got history, we got to be good with each other at that point in time for me to do that. We got to be good with each other. Because like I said, whether we realize it or not, we're paying for it anyway. And I'm not just talking about physicality. But we're paying for it anyway. We are. We really are. And I'm not seeing this through one. I'm not trying to see this from a strictly male or any type of chauvinistic point of view. I'm not. If I had it like that, would I do it? Sure. But we have to be in a good place. We have to be in a good place. If I feel like I'm being shortchanged emotionally and shortchanged physically, for what? And that's real. That's real. And you can say, well, that's what it's all about. No, it ain't. No, it's not. But I'm a person too. You know, I'm a person too. As men, we're people too. We have feelings. We have emotions. Even though some people don't like to show it, we're human beings too. We have wants. We have needs too. And it goes both ways. And if you don't like it, tough luck. If you don't like it, I guess it's just going to be tough on everybody. So, and with that being said, definitely, you know, don't succumb to the pressures of the holidays. Don't succumb to the pressures of the commercialization of the holidays. Just realize the meaning of the holidays. Love your family. Love your kids. If you have a significant other, really show them how much you love them. It doesn't have to be materialistic. You know, it could be something simple. You know. So, with that being said, I will definitely get back at y'all. I'm gonna have a Monday episode on Christmas Eve, and you know it's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns. Again, if this is your first time listening, hit that subscribe button. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life, and I'm out of here. Peace.